Greetings and salutations, game fans. Firecracker37 here. I have been busy between episodes, so real quick, let's go over what all has changed around the factory. The first thing you should notice is down here by our mining drills, I've taken out the old Red Science setup and the belt assembler we had down this way. Since Red Science all finished, I decided we just really didn't even need it there. We'll just use the parts elsewhere in the factory. I have routed some stone heading down towards the bus and put an overflow. I made this great big thing called a warehouse, and it holds a lot. A lot. So any excess stone we produce will go up to the warehouse. And that stone is coming this way to our furnace column, where you see we're smelting it into some stone bricks, and we're also letting it continue on down to the main bus. So now our main bus has both stone bricks and raw stone on it, so they're there when we need them. Now, on the main bus, I put a path above what we have for a bus so far. This will probably be about the midpoint of the bus. It's going to continue on to the north. Bob's Mods just adds so much stuff that we're going to need. I put a little belt assembler down here because I couldn't be bothered to keep making them by hand. And I also extended our bus a good 60 tiles or so, hopefully giving us enough room for me to do the build I have planned for today. The final thing I did is in a few key places around our base, I put a radar with a few turrets and a little bit of ammo in it. So if you take a look at our map here, there are some enemy bases popping up. And while what we have won't fight off a full-scale attack from the aliens, it should at least keep us going until we can get Military 2 researched and actually go take some of them out ourselves. The other thing I'm hoping for is to find some more sapphirite, but so far I am not seeing any on the map. So we're going to have to get railroading going sooner rather than later. In order to get Military 2 researching, we need green science. In order to get green science, we need circuit boards. So our first mission today is to get circuit boards being produced and put on the bus. If we look in our crafting menu here, we have two types of circuit boards. We have basic circuit boards and basic electronic boards. The basic electronic boards aren't required for making green science, but they're required for making the second assemblers that we need to make the green science. So we're going to go ahead and this episode work on getting both of those circuit boards being produced and put on the line. And if we have time, we're also going to get our green science going. I sure hope we have time. So let's get going. So basic electronic boards, the first ones we need to manufacture, simply require wooden boards and copper cable. They're very similar to the vanilla ones, except we use wooden boards instead of iron plates. So we're going to do a very simple setup here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 assemblers there. We're going to go ahead and get these guys set up. And they'll also be upgraded once we're to the point that we can do so. And these guys are going to make our basic electronic boards. Or basic circuit boards, sorry. Now, we do have some circuit assemblers, these little guys over here that I'm using for the electronic circuits, but they're just kind of tiny, and I'd really like to use the bigger ones, I guess. And I have these guys centered incorrectly. So there we go. Now we'll tell them to make some basic circuit boards. So coming down this way, we're going to need copper. Coming down this way, we're going to need wooden boards. And then coming out here and here will be our circuits. Oops, I guess I can leave that there. Now I'd like to do this on both sides. If we can figure out how to do it here. There we go, and we're going to need a handful of inserters for sure. There we go. Then these guys will output and copper down this way. So we'll connect these guys to each other. And we're going to run it over here, hop under, and we'll just run them back up this way. Give them a nice merge point here, and we'll just use a splitter to put both belts together. And that's how we're going to do it. All right. So the first thing we need to do is get 2 coppers and 1 wooden boards. And there we go. I could probably just split the copper once and call it good, but kind of prefer to do it this way. So many power poles. Even more power poles, I guess, because they just don't quite reach. That's so messy. I don't know. The default basic electric poles, just they don't go far enough. It's ridiculous. Oh, whoops. Wait, I don't know if I did that. Okay, yes, it is going the proper direction. So right here, we're going to put a splitter in like so. And down. Here's our wooden boards. And they're all the way up here. Oh, and wouldn't you know it, we're out of splitters. So let's make some splitters. And we're waiting for circuit boards, which is the whole reason we're doing this. As soon as we have some green science up and we can set our defenses up a little bit better, I definitely want to get all of our hotbar stuff being produced and put into chests so we can just run by and pick it up till we have robots who will just bring it to us. So there we go. We've got ourselves a splitter and wooden boards. And lastly, we just need one more line of copper. Oh no, that's backwards. We want it like this, just to make sure that after we've pulled off, what, 3 times of this, that it just rebalances a little bit. This is not a perfect belt balancer, but it takes 2 tiles wide, which is good enough for me. Alright, so here we go. Our first circuits are being produced, so they're going to have to go up to the bus. And now we're out of those belts. Always out of something. I also use them very liberally. I'm used to having a base that is producing everything I could ever want and more. Oh, we're out of belts, but I know I can fix that problem. Seeing as how we have a full wooden chest there and what, half a wooden chest there. So thank you. How are we for gears in our inventory? We don't have any. Now we have some. Alright, that's fantastic. So now, this is a tileable circuit factory. It'll be really nice once we have blueprints and can just copy and paste it. But to start with, I think we'll just do the one setup, and we'll see how good that goes. So let's just run this all the way down to the end so that it's just going to keep making circuits for us. And get rid of those. I had extended those down. I was going to put that warehouse for the stone right there, and then I decided it really wasn't that necessary to be at the end. It could be anywhere on the line thanks to the way splitters work. But anywho, the next thing we need is our blue circuit boards. So those just require a basic circuit, a basic electronic component, and solder. All of these things we have. Now, I'm pretty sure that these circuit factory guys can make them. Let's just take a quick look here. Yes, they sure can. So we'll make up just a few of these. They're in production, if I remember right. And we'll make like 5 of them. We're going to need 3 resources, as I said, which is basic circuit boards, basic electronic components, and solder. So let's see what we can do about getting some of that stuff down there. So here's our solder right here. And of course we are out of splitters again. And we're running out of iron, so let's just grab a whole bunch of it off the bus. Swoop it all up. Oh yeah, that's plenty. Now let's come up here and just grab a bunch of these electronic circuits so that they're in our inventory next time we need to craft something. I love the fact that you can ride transport belt, but sometimes I sure hate how it moves you around the way it does. Oops. Yeah, we're good here. Alright, there's solder. And I said the next thing we would need is electronic circuits. So I wonder, can we get that to... There we go, that's perfect. Whoops, wrong direction. And finally, even though we just brought them up this way, we need some electronic circuits. Now we'll leave a space. So this is where we want to break this one. And right here. Alright, now we have all of the materials that we're going to need. Let's look at the ratios, because we might be able to mix one of these belts and then only need to use 2 inserters to get them in and 1 to get them out. Wrong tab there. So we can do the basic boards and the solder on 1, and of course those are the 2 that are furthest apart from each other. But that's alright, let's just... So there we go. As much as I'm not a huge fan of having mixed belts in little instances like this, it's not that big of a deal. Once we have better inserter tech too, the Bob's Mods extra inserters are pretty awesome. Where's our circuit factories? Here we go. Oh, those are too close. But I do know these lines need to be just a tiny bit longer. I have a feeling that 4 of these is overkill, but... Oh, I've already got long-handed inserters, that's awesome. And our blue circuits are going to come up this way. See what I mean about liberally using underground belt? Could have totally done that a different way, but I like the way that this looks and works better. So there we go. That's going to give us plenty of electronic circuits. Let's come down here and give them some power and get them kicking off. Guess we were doing it like this side, huh? Probably want more right there. There we go! Our first electronic circuits. So I do have this belt manufacturer over here, but it's really just kind of a temporary thing. I'd much rather have a permanent one where all of my hotbar stuff's getting produced together, so we're not going to worry too much about it. So what we need now is green science and red science. To do green science, we're going to need some blue belts, or some blue circuits rather. So like any time you produce something new on the line, the first handful are mine. So we can come into production here, and 10 of those. That sounds awesome. Alright, and I'm going to pause the recording for just a few moments while I get some stuff crafted up, and I let these belts here kind of back up on the belt, or not belts, the electronic circuits, the basic electronic circuits. They need to back up, so we'll be right back. And we're back. I went ahead and let the blue circuits back up a little bit. I added some blue inserters onto them. I don't think that these guys need to be blue, though. Yeah, they look to be working just fine the way they are. And we're not even making enough electronic circuits to supply the second set. Which means that these guys are just going to back up anyways. Nope, we're out of splitters. So we're going to balance these the proper way, I guess you could say. Like that. The end of the line there. And I also sped up the electronic components over here with some blue inserters, and they're just going at lightning speed now, unloading. Which is exactly what we need. So now, we need to make belts, we need to make an inserters, and we need those to be made into green science packs. And then doing red science packs is going to be a breeze. So what do science packs entail? We need iron and gear wheels for the belts, and we need iron gear wheels and circuit boards for the inserters. As you see, I've already pulled down the circuit boards, and I've pulled down some iron. So the first thing we need to do is get an inserter here with 2 inputs to 1 output. And he's going to put them on one side of a belt while the iron goes on the other side of the belt. And they will run down this way to be turned into belts and inserters. Tell this guy to make some gear wheels. Make gear wheels. Thank you. So we have one inserter here making belts. I'm going to use that just for some spacing. And one down here who will be making inserters. And I want them on separate belts. And I wanted this space here because we might actually have them produce some for us, in which case I can put some chests there and do some circuit network stuff to make sure it keeps science prioritized. But for now, let's take these guys up this way. Get them some power. Goodness. Just drives me nuts when things are flashing. So we'll just give you 2 ins to an out. We'll give you one of those guys and one of those guys to an output. And here we go. We have... Wow, used 500 belts. That's what we've done. Now, I don't know how long our iron supply is going to keep up with this, because we are definitely demanding quite a bit of iron. We can do this the lazy way. You can actually then come back one. Keep it nice and compact. And you'll go into one. We'll just put up there. Nope, this is a bad spot to do it. We're going to do it up above. Nope, this one needs to be there. And they're not going to go all the way up to the bus, but they are going to occupy some of the space that is up that direction. having a very hard time figuring out. So we want them just to come past this electric pole here. And then we're going to bring them down. And we want 6 of these guys. How many do I have? 7. So we're going to need a few more later. Big old tree in the way. There we go. Green science. I'm excited. Get some outputs going. And some inputs going. So it looks like for the time being everything is going as well as it can be. We need 5 red science assemblers. We'll make up a few of these guys here. And that player crafting speed actually makes quite the difference in our crafting. You, my friend, are going to make red science packs. You're going to need gear wheels and iron. Or gear wheels and copper, rather. Which are going to come down on a mixed belt with Alright, well let's do this one little thing at a time here. So let's get these science factories powered. With an input and an output for each of them. Just like so. Now this here is going to be the belt. This is going to be our copper. Come on, copper. And how do we want to do this here? Could just have it output. One output to 2 inputs. And this will be iron. Oh, and we need to tell you what you're doing. No, you're not making that. Making that. So here we go. I just want to see a red science pack hit this, and we'll be awesome. There we go. Alright, and we're back. Sorry about that. Just had a little interruption in real life. But as you see, we've got some red and green science going. Let's go ahead and clear out just a few of these trees. Oh no, our tool broke. I'm just going to tell it to make 5 tools. Oh, there we go. We'll see if that is enough. Pull these down just a little bit. I have the 10 science labs that we were using earlier still in my pocket there. So we're going to slap these guys down. Oh, that pole is in the way. And we're out of electric poles. Wow. Here I thought I was prepared to not have to craft very much stuff in my pocket. I'm constantly finding that is not the case. Robots. We need robots. Alright, so let's get these science guys powered up here. That should keep everything there powered. Oh, the science lab. These darn trees are just in the way. I damaged the science factory a little bit. We'll just fix that quick. But the electric pole's just going to get blown up. Oops, wrong click. Alright, and here we go. We have got red and green science going into science labs, giving us research for military 2. And that is all the time that we have for today, folks. I'd like to thank you very much for checking out my series. If you liked what you just watched, please remember to click that thumbs up button. It really helps me out. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you never miss another episode. See ya!